what does success mean to you ba as an artist?
Well, before, success meant more of like, I guess you get your dream clients, you have so much following, you're always making something super new and different, and you have a lot of likes and things like that, like the surface level success. Then for me now, it's really more of knowing what my personal priorities are, what my calling is, my values in terms of art and things like that. And then if I'm able to fulfill those things by what I do, then that's already...
Wow.
I mean, now, it is. So, yeah. I mean, especially if I look back on where I was before, like the Sofia before is gonna be like, wow! And then, meanwhile, the me now is just like, oh my gosh, it's so bad or whatever. But then, yeah, I've come a long way.
Welcome to Soul, a roundtable on creativity, artistry, expression, and vision. Today, we are with an incredible multimedia artist who can sing, dance, paint, write poetry, and everything else you can think of. We're gonna talk about how her family and her parents were so comfortable with letting her and her siblings all take arts-related career paths. And then we're gonna talk about how she battled imposter syndrome, even as an already pretty solid and established artist. Hello. You laughed first thing. I didn't even say a word. It wasn't even like there's a lull and then you laugh.
It was like rolling laugh.
Okay, nice. How are you?
I'm good, obviously. I already said that, but I'm very good.
Baka naman it's a facade lang.
No, I'm really good. Like,
Why?
I can't complain about anything except... No, just kidding.
So you do graphic design for your job, like where you
Yes,
came?
that's my main job.
What do you do, like the posters and like the
I do-
thumbnails?
Yeah, thumbnails, branding for shows, social media pubs. Yeah.
How's it like working in a team? Of like there's all these creative minds coming together and then you're creating content together. Because it's one thing, siguro, to be like in a prod house and you're like creating like commercials for brands and clients. And there's another one where it's a content studio now.
Yeah.
So is that, yeah. Do you like it? Do you
Yeah, it's
hate
so
it?
fun because like if I have an idea, I can pitch it and it's probably gonna happen.
Wow.
Yeah, legit. Like that's why I get to do other not just graphic design. Sometimes I get to write poems even, like for work.
Wow.
Or be like, hey, can we do a poem and then I'll animate a little
Do you feel
something
like you need a
that.
creative outlet outside of what you do, or like that is a fulfilling enough creative outlet?
You know, that might be the reason why I don't make so much personal art anymore. Because I get to have fun with what I'm doing already. I mean, I still do want to make personal art, but I don't really feel the need for like, oh, I need to release from work or something. And then...
How is that again?
Which one? Which one? Wait, oh,
That
the leading
one.
there. Oh, yeah,
No,
there.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So, how is your, like, you do so many artistic things. Like, ever since I met you when you were 1 year old.
Yeah.
You have been dancing, singing, painting, doing spoken word poetry, doing poetry on your own, writing stories. How did you even get into art and creativity in the first place?
I guess like partly genetic, and then because my mom's a ballet teacher, and then she sings also. And then, well, I didn't know it yet, but my dad apparently used to draw in college.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he did like comics for the school newspaper or something.
Ah.
Yeah, so it was just something I was surrounded with all the time. I mean, especially dance, since my mom, that time, she was still dancing and taking classes. So, she'd bring me to the studio, and then read me storybooks, and that's where I first was like, whoa, drawings, wow, stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just, I don't know, I guess like partially upbringing and partially like from my parents' genes or something.
A super interesting thing that I noticed is like all three of you siblings in your family are taking like arts tracks and courses and directions. What course did you take?
I
graduating
did
in?
visual communication. Yeah. So same as my sister. Yeah. Exact same course.
It's like you're basically, why are your parents so supportive of you guys doing art?
Because I was the guinea pig. I'm just kidding. I love you, my mom and my dad.
No, I mean if it's true, but because okay, so like context, it's like zooming out. There's so many families of lawyers, families of doctors, families of like businessmen doing the family business. It's rare to find like a family of artists, and it's so interesting. Like even to me personally, even with your dad being a pastor, but then he's like, you know, he's seen so much of the world and all these experiences, and he's like, yeah, it's okay. All of my kids can be artists.
Yeah.
Do you think they were worried or?
Well, at first, like they didn't want me to take fine arts at first. It was more because like I didn't pass any entrance exams, and and then I found out that UP has a talent test for fine arts. So even if you don't pass the entrance exam, you can still get in through drawing. So I was like, can I take it? Because how else will I go to college?
Right.
Yeah. So, but I think also because my mom took up, I mean, my lola, like my mom's mom, was already supportive of the arts in a time, like all the more my mom's time.
Wow.
Like my mom went to Philippine High School for the Arts, Maqui, and like I'm sure that time it's like, you know, why would you take art in high school, you know? So there was that kind of, already.
So a big reason why families want their kids to take certain jobs is because of the money and profitability aspect. And that's always been a very real struggle in the creative industry. Whether it's like for your family's perspective as a whole, contrasted to the perspective of a lot of the money-making families, or I mean, it's not bad. It's like you know, going that other route.
Yeah.
Or if you think it has something to do less about your family and also just more about the current era that we're in, where creativity and art becomes decentralized and you can DIY. Like, speak into like why. I just find it really interesting that all of your siblings, you're doing artistic stuff and you're flourishing. Yeah, and your parents are so supportive.
I guess it's a mix of those things. Like, it was also the timing. Like, syempre it was, diba, with me, they kind of had reservations at the start. But when my sister and brother wanted na, parang hindi na siya issue. Because they were also seeing, I guess they saw in me first, like even college pa lang, I was already getting like freelance stuff and how like I was able to land a good job after, like there's no problem pala. So I guess when they saw that, they're like, okay, yeah, the arts is really flourishing now. And my dad always equates that to like the economy also. Like when a country though is a little bit, was getting better, like economically speaking, then people have the money to do art stuff or to support the arts. So compared to their time, like we're, I guess, I mean, I'm not an economist, but you know, the fact that we're able to have all these like art shows or whatever, diba? Like art fairs coming up this weekend, you know, that probably even wasn't a thing before.
Did you ever have like a talk with your parents, like
about it?
Yeah, parang yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like especially when I wanted to take fine arts, like before I failed the exams. I said, can I put fine arts as my top choice? And then they're explaining to me that I'd get a better job if I did like mass comm or if I did writing, because I have more options. Because I think they kind of thought like you can either make it as a studio artist, you know, like a famous painter or whatever, or you're gonna teach.
Yeah,
okay, I'm not saying that, you know,
that's worse.
Yeah, that's worse, or like it's a bad thing.
You're a
but
teacher.
Then, yeah, I teach ballet now. But I guess you're like, you will have more options and whatever. Parang ganun.
So what are, okay, it's indicative to me, correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like iba yung naging priorities niyo in terms of like, we don't really mind not becoming filthy rich with, you know, medical industry money or engineering industry money, or like, it seems like there's something more important, like doing the art itself or flourishing in that regard, in the creative and soul aspect of it. Is that something that resonates with you, or is it like, no, I really just like art, I don't care about whether I make money or not? It's like,
I think it's both. Like, I really just wanted to do it. I wasn't thinking of jobs or anything. I was just like, this is what I want to do. And this is how I can express certain, like, ideas, worldviews, right, and beliefs. And, I don't know, I guess I just always wanted to have, you know, meaning in what I did. That's why, like, I'd put so much effort into my artworks, even though I wasn't even thinking I could sell this someday. And I just want to make it. Or when I'd write my poems with the messages that they have, hindi ko iniisip yung, like, I hope this becomes viral or something. It's just like, I want to share this message through this way. Yeah.
Okay, so there are two factors in my head, and there could be more. But the first, and my question is, how has your view of art changed through the years as you've grown up? And the first factor that may have affected it is social media and the internet. So you were creating art even before it was easily shareable through the internet, and you were doing it, you know, like for yourself talaga in your room. Has social media changed that? And the second is like, has doing it for a job changed it also?
Oh yeah, definitely social media. Now sometimes when I'm gonna post something, it's like, this is part of my online portfolio, or it's may halong, or my fine arts friends gonna say, did you even graduate from fine arts?
Right.
Like, that's always my fear. They post something, my art friends are gonna be like, batchmate natin yan. Like, something. Yeah, like I wanna go back to, well, now I've been going back to that. I'll just post what I want when I feel like it. Because there's a time I was even thinking about the time of the day. You know, like, more people are online at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, so they're more likely to like it. Ganon. But now I'm just like going back to the random, because I wanna do it.
Yeah.
Like, and just relieve myself of the pressure. And yun nga, even with doing it as a job, there's also, that's added pressure.
Yeah.
Now, what? You do it for a living and then you make art like that? Like, it's just something that I always...
Like what? Like art like what?
I don't know, like it looks so kiddie, or, it's not like technically great, or it's not very dynamic, like the angle isn't like... it's just flat or something. Like,
How much does that matter, like in the art world? Because maybe in the fine arts world, it's different from... TikTokers can post super low quality, low production level content, and they're gonna get viral. Like nowadays, it doesn't have to be technically good if the content is great. Like, is that something that in the fine arts world, kailangan may technical prowess ka ganun?
Maybe, I think it depends on your target market, and also what your, I don't know, style is, or what your whole purpose for making it is. Because I also appreciate naman there are artists who sobrang ganda ng message or ang witty, and then they make very simple like line stuff, and I appreciate that. Honestly, I don't know, I think it's just like my expectations of myself.
Like imposter syndrome stuff.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I haven't listened to your podcast on that yet, but I will.
Okay, that's a different thing. But have you ever faced it? Like
imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. All the time. Like sometimes I'm embarrassed to say what I do because I feel like the expectations will be here, then I'm like here. Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Why do you face imposters? Like maybe zooming out from the times that you feel like you're not worthy, you're not enough, your work is not valid or valuable, and then it comes out and it's the thumbnail for a viral video, or it's like something that gets a lot of numbers, brings in real numbers. That proves that there is value, right? What is it that keeps you coming back to the mindset of, parang I don't feel confident in what I can create?
Maybe because I always compare myself to my peers or people younger who are more successful.
How do you overcome it though?
I try to remind myself na everyone has their own journey and their pace, and I have a different set of strengths and weaknesses. Just because my weakness is someone else's strength doesn't mean, necessarily, Like, okay, so I'm gonna share something.
Yeah.
It's okay, I already told this person about it. But then, like, for example, we had I already told her. Like, we had a new graphic designer recently. When she was about to be hired, because she's so good, like especially specifically in collage art. I'm not good at collage art. My strength is more illustration. But I just kept focusing on that. Like, she's so good at collage art. And I really convinced myself they were gonna fire me and then hire her. Legit. Like, it became like truth to me. I was like, I'm ready. Like, they're gonna fire me now. And then they hired her and I was like, I'm not fired. And
Where's
then,
the firing? Like,
yeah, this grabe super perfect in timing. The day that they hired her, so I was feeling super like, oh my god, I'm ready to be let go. Then one of my workmates, without knowing what I was going through, said, isn't it so cool that we have two graphic designers now? Now one is more illustration, one is more collage. It makes our like channel more dynamic. And I was like, that's so true.
Yeah.
Nga, no, then it's not a competition for just only one artist can make it. You know, we have all different strengths and weaknesses, and you know, I can't be perfect. What? And everything.
Shocked.
Yeah, shocked. I told her this recently, that
Yeah.
graphic designer. She was so shocked. She's like, you really thought they're gonna fire you? And then it's just weird also to hear from her now, but I really love your work.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you're so much better. And then she's like, no, we just have different things to offer.
What does success mean to you ba as an artist?
Well, before, success meant more of like, I guess you get your dream clients, you have so much following, you're always making something super new and different, and you know, you have a lot of likes and things like that, like the surface level success. And for me now, it's really more of knowing what my personal, you know, priorities are, what my calling is, my values in terms of art and things like that. And then if I'm able to fulfill those things by what I do, then that's already...
Wow.
I mean, now it is. So, yeah, I mean, especially if I look back on where I was before, like the Sofia before is gonna be like, wow. And then meanwhile the me now is just like, oh my gosh, it's so bad or whatever. But then yeah, I've come a long way from...
What do you mean? Like, what would your past self say about you now?
I can't believe you're doing what you do. Because I really had zero clue. I just knew I wanted to study art. Bahala na yung job part. Even up to graduation, like ceremony. People are like, what are you gonna do after? Where are you gonna apply? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I honestly did not know if I could even survive in the working world. Because I felt like I was too free. Free spirit. I don't know if that's the right word. But I wasn't disciplined enough to work in an office, to have a job, even.
Right.
But like I was too childish or too, you know, this and that.
So what would you tell an artist that's like really doubting themselves? Maybe facing imposter syndrome or like, I'm too like this, I'm too like that.
Ayun nga, that everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses, and it's not fair to pit yourself against someone who has a different set of strengths and weaknesses. And to, instead of being focused also on like, I mean, it also helps because if you're not just thinking about, oh, how can I achieve this and that. But if you also help others achieve their, sometimes you won't even realize na you're growing alongside other artists. Yung instead of being like, oh, I'm the only one who can make it in this field. You know, share your resources, your time, your, like uplift other artists as well. I think it's a very fulfilling thing to uplift a whole community rather than just pushing ahead of everyone else. Because when you get there, you're gonna be like, oh, it's so lonely, no one understands me, blah 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 blah. And then, yeah.
You talked about success as an artist for you, meaning that you know your values and your calling. So is that part of it, like uplifting other people? And then what else is part of your values and calling as an artist?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I always think of how this can affect, other people. And I think I don't know if it's coming from me just being so extroverted,
Uh-huh.
then like I just wanna share it with someone or hope it moves someone. Not to say na I'm always concerned about what are they gonna. Well, sometimes I am, like during the imposter syndrome moments. But in the purest, talaga, it's really like I hope this resonates with someone, And it's something I'm still figuring out. I can't say na, I am called to make art that is gonna change how people see Philippines. I don't have a very solid, it's just generally speaking, I guess I just want to move people in some way. And yes.
So far, what has been your proudest moment as an artist? If you're having trouble ranking it, then at least in the recent future or recent past.
Moment. Okay, I don't know about proudest, but I'll just share a recent time I was very touched. Some random person on Instagram made art out of a poem I wrote in like 2015.
Wow.
And I just found that so nice. It's like we collabed. I don't even know who this person is. And then maybe when someone sees that person's art, they're gonna be inspired to make something. And it's like, and it was a completely different art form because I wrote a poem and then I inspired visual art piece. And then I just love that when there's when people, let's say when they tell me like, is it okay if I perform your piece at a gig, or can I make art out of this, or can I just love that when I'm able to encourage people to keep making also, instead of just being like, wow, I could never do that, but then they're inspired to like make something more out of what I already had.
What's your wish or vision for like not just the generation, but like where art is going now? So you said like you wish people would just actually make something. We talked a little bit about making for the numbers versus making art for art's sake. We talked a little bit, or I'm thinking now also along the lines of like the money issue also. Parang even with art as content or creativity as content versus not having to share it. Like, do you feel like there's a danger for where the art and creatives industry is going, or wala naman, but you just have a wish for it na?
Well, the dangers.
Yeah.
I mean, syempre when people like, the whole, the intellectual property issues and I guess when you can kind of, ayun nga, parang when creativity isn't anymore valued, it's more of like being viral or being, what's the most shareable, what's the most trendy, but then not really caring about, like the value of what you're doing or how it could affect other mindsets. So I think my vision is really just that hopefully one day people can just create freely and genuinely. They're not gonna have to worry about their online presence, because even if it is like it can get in the way of genuine art sometimes, sadly it's a necessity. And then because the whole portfolio thing, that's where you get discovered for clients, ganun. So parang you can't really completely separate it. But I hope it reaches a point where we can go back to that. Remember on Instagram when you just
right.
Yeah, diba? Like I would love to go back to those days where just creating freely and genuinely.
What would help you personally go back to those days?
I guess being more connected to life outside of my phone or something. Yeah, because usually sometimes when I see a viral art on Instagram, so always my first thought is, okay, I can do something like that pala. Like, then maybe I'll try to, this will get likes or something. I don't know, like, or, this is what's trending now, or this is what's, And then sometimes it's not anymore to, develop my skill. It's just like another thing to make me feel like imposter syndrome or whatever. But then the more I do things like, just experiencing life, like meeting up with friends or going someplace new, or I don't know, parang that's what inspires the genuine and free art, because it's like, oh, I want to document this moment. I'm gonna draw this tree that I climbed or something, or I'll take a picture of this food that I really liked. I don't know. I can't really. That's just my top of mind, like how it can bring me back there, because it's how it started anyway. Like if I really liked the song, I would draw my own album cover for it, you know.
That's
or
awesome.
if I liked a book that I read, then I would write a poem inspired by what, you know. It's just like experiencing life.
How does inspiration work? Like what, when you say genuine and free art, and then you said like, when I heard the song I really liked, I would draw an album cover. Like, how does that inspiration process work in your mind, and does it go beyond your mind into your heart or into your soul?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's more of when, wow, I never realized that before. Like, let's say if it's a song and it's, you know, there's so many love songs, but if the singer sings something about love, it's like, that's such a great way to put it. And then that's, for me, it's usually like what's inspiring, when it's something old that's presented to me in a new way.
Yeah.
That's inspiring for me.
And then what makes it, what is the element that makes the art that you create worthy to be called free or genuine by you? Like compared to other things that you might have created na hindi.
I guess like if in the process I'm just like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Or I like this. Because sadly, I'm kind of now when I make, or when I'm not thinking about, or people gonna judge me because my lines aren't straight, you know. But then, in general, I just have a hard time getting past the first part kasi sometimes draft pa lang, like, ang pangit na nito. Draft pa nga lang, di ba? And then, so I just have to keep pushing and pushing myself through the process. And at the end, like, yeah, I guess I just have to keep push. Even if it doesn't start out as free and genuine, somewhere along the process, it does get there, I think. Unless yung the whole time I'm just like in a bad mood and waiting for clout. But yeah, it does reach a point naman when I just get lost in it na, like forgetting all the worries and
that's awesome.
Fears in the start.
They say that art is a tool for introspection. How much do you agree with this? And
introspection, like yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's both. It's both intro and outrospection.
Extrospection. Probably extra.
Outside spection.
What has it revealed? What has your art revealed to you? Like, when you do it, what does it reveal to you about yourself? And then the extrospection, like, what does it reveal to you?
Actually, my art reveals the influences of my other art. Like, I realized recently that why I love wavy lines and like it's going that, it's because I'm a dancer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, I don't like drawing super straight lines. Like, I have a hard time with it. I always want it to feel like it's moving. And then I said, it's probably because I'm like... yeah, dancing. Or I want the image to look like it's telling a story. That's coming from my poetry background. Like, so that's what I see. Like, I see my other, influences. Yeah.
What are the things, the major big things that have shaped you into the artist you are? So you're so multimedia as a person. You can draw in charcoal, or you can dance contemporary, or you can like write a song with, I don't know, like a weird instrument. But in all of that, it's gonna reflect who you are. So what do you feel like are the big things that shape your style as an artist?
Stories talaga. Like, I always love stories in the art. Whatever it is. Like, if I'm writing, if I'm dancing, if I'm drawing, story is so important to me.
Why?
Yeah. Because, I don't know, I love stories. I don't know if there's a deeper way I can put it. Like, I love stories. Or I don't know, maybe it's partly who I am. It could also be, a cultural thing, Filipinos with the oral storytelling. Like, it's just such a, I loved reading. I loved asking my parents to read to me when I was a kid. I don't know, I guess for me, makes it more like there's more
realness.
Yeah, there's more
ganon.
weight in what you're creating when you know there's a story behind it. Okay, I'm not saying that if it's just pretty, like it's bad or something. It's just me. Like personally, I love story in any.
What are one of your favorite stories?
The Chronicles of Narnia.
Yeah.
I'm also saying that because I just recently reread the whole thing.
How was it?
Oh
Seven book
my
adventure.
god, it's so good. Like it's like if Narnia was a drug.
Yeah.
And just
More of it.
Yeah. But I mean, it ended perfectly also. Like it's a perfect like beginning, middle, end, everything.
What's the part that really struck you?
Like from
Yeah.
Chronicles of Narnia. So yeah, but in general, like as I was saying, when you have a universal experience that's presented to you in a new way. So for example, the feeling of being ashamed and fearful, like feeling like you can't face God, at the same time you don't know like where else to go. So the scene was his character Jill was really thirsty, and there was a stream of water, but Aslan was there, and she was afraid of Aslan. So she told Aslan, "I'm just gonna go find another stream." And then Aslan says, "There is no other stream." So that really, oh my gosh! Like, I took note of that quote.
Yeah.
Then I think I cried.
Yeah.
Because it's like we've all felt that, but then the way it was presented was so new, but it was still so relatable, and that's, you know, that's what I love about story in art.
Right. Right. That's so cool. Like relating to universal experiences, like things that we all experience, but then seeing it from a different perspective because art or a story. So art is about would you agree, like about touching, like it resonates when it resonates with someone, it resonates with their experience, then it's more meaningful. Is it like that, or is it like something more to you, to the artist?
I think means different things for different people. For me, that's how it is because as someone who loves to connect with people, then art is like, I want my art, everything I do. When I'm eating, I want to be with someone,
Right.
Everything has to involve people.
Right.
But for some other artists, it's more like, it's art if I can fully express who I am. I don't care what you guys say or think. And like, that's not wrong. Like, it's just different, and that's also why I love talking to other artists.
Love it.
So I can glean from them, like, oh, how do you view art? What's your
Right.
It's so fun.
Okay, so wrapping this up, if you had all the money and resources in the world, as an artist, what would you create? Like, what's your dream project?
No, the first thing I thought, I really want like an artist community, like just a free space, kind of like those residencies where people come for a month and do whatever they want, but you don't have to pay, to get in. Like, it's just, hey, this is a space, here are materials, you don't need to buy your own materials, and then let's just make collaborative art in this space.
Wow.
That's what I want to do. Because I can't think of any personal project I'd like to do. I just want to be with people.
Yeah.
And I want to see what other people are doing. And I want to support that. Like, I'm super like, anytime a friend has a project, I'm like, how can I be a part of it? I want to help. Yeah.
Okay, so then finally, like, there's so many artists, and you've encountered imposter syndrome. Like, there's so many artists who don't feel that way about themselves. You're like, you're an accomplished artist. Like, you're an accomplished creative. You're in a place where you're actually like relatively stable and happy, and you're Maslow's triangle. You're like pyramid hierarchy of.
But okay,
yeah,
I will Google it later.
No, I'll show you later. But like, people desire like security first, and like
okay.
Parang, and then it goes up to like self-actualization. Ganun.
Yeah.
What would you tell an artist who does not see themselves that way? Because you're so, as an accomplished, like, people are gonna look up to you and they're like, wow, Sofia's so good. But you're also saying, I want to collaborate with you. Like, I want to help you get better as an artist. I want to uplift you, because all artists are cool. But what would you say to like artists that don't think they're cool? Yeah.
I guess I would like assure them lang na, you know, not everybody thinks the way that you do. Like maybe you think it's so normal how you see the world as an artist and you don't think you're special. But then if you talk to somebody who's not an artist, I'm not saying that they're like ano, but you're just gonna see like iba rin, like how they think. And of course, I super respect and admire how like more kind of logical, rational people think. Like you can organize your life like in your mind, like how? Diba? So parang I guess yun nga, I would bring that out in them, show them that the way, like even when they're not making art, the way they see art, the way they interact with people, the way they consume media, it's from an artist's point of view. It's from an artist's perspective. And hopefully, they would be encouraged because their point of view matters, their art matters. Because even if the topic is, again, universal and like, oh, everybody makes art about friendship or something, like, you have your very different friendship experiences from mine. So if, let's say, someone gives us a prompt right now, like, diba, write a poem about friendship, we're gonna have different, even if it's the same topic. So every artist's voice matters because they have very different experiences, and the more we share each other's experiences through our art, then we can get a better grasp of what that thing is, whether it's friendship, love, betrayal, you know, things like that. Yeah.
Galing. Where can people find you online?
On Instagram.
Where's your online portfolio?
My online portfolio is on Instagram-ish, but it's really just like a dump of everything. It's Sofia.Paderes.
Oh!
Yeah.
Didn't you used to have like
Curious
Sophie
Lemon.
Chica and Curious? Yeah.
Oh, Curious Lemon Pie is still my name because people still type that. So I just put Sofia Curious Lemon Pie. But the username itself is my name.
Yeah.
Because again, that's always my fear. Like, people think I'm so kiddie. Because like, you're working 26 and your name's Curious Lemon Pie. Like,
but that is your art. That's your perspective of the world.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
So it's still there in my name, but not my username.
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
It was really nice to hear your perspective.
Thank you.